Warning, this podcast may contain explicit language.
Thanks for tuning in to the second episode of Life This Week presented by Noir Inc. I'm your host, Najee. First, I want to start off by apologizing for not having our second episode out last week. We had some complications, but going forward, we'll definitely make sure there's an episode out, whether it be rain, sleet, hail, or snow. Also, this week, it will just be me, but I'll be sure not to be too long-winded and make sure that I'm giving a fairly unbiased opinion of our topics. So let's get on to the show. Getting into our topics for today, I want to talk a little bit about Twitter bullies and celebrities, along with the healthcare bill that the Senate is still having issues with forming as a means to replace Obamacare. Dun dun dun. You know, the infamous Obamacare, as you would think. But starting off, this week. So we had James T. Woods deciding to comment on couple's son as he decided to wear makeup. You know, he came talking about he's gonna grow up to be a killer and hopefully he won't murder the whole family and something insane like that. And it's just like, wow, man, you don't have anything else to do with your day but I guess go on social media and find innocent families or children or anybody to just come and attack. Like, that's a little ridiculous to me, you know? I honestly think it's abysmal. I'm so glad Neil Patrick Harris took the time to let Mr. Woods know, in a kind way, mind you, that he's a piece of fucking shit. I honestly really hope that Mr. Woods listens to this podcast one day so he too can know that I feel like he's a piece of shit. As a celebrity, you can really be worrying about a lot more things than what somebody else's family is doing. And for you to go and try to use your clout for, I guess, laughs. I don't know if that's where he was working at, but it wasn't funny and it's really despicable. Like, you're a grown-ass man coming at a child. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? And this isn't apparently the only time he's decided to get Twitter fingery. But I do hope one day they meet so that young man can tell James Woods off himself. He can wear all the makeup, skirts, whatever. You're living your own life in your own little world. And honestly, society in general needs to learn to just respect people's boundaries. If they're not crossing over into yours or coming into your household, you should honestly back the fuck off. Let people live their lives. That's why we have so many problems as is, because everyone feels the need to give their opinion or comment into something they know nothing about. And honestly, those type of people really need to just fix their own damn lives. You, Mr. Woods, fix your own goddamn life. But in general, Twitter bullies, or these social media bullies coming after celebrities, if you don't like it, scroll past or move past and keep your own life going. Like, it says something if you're letting what someone else who doesn't even think about you or have a thought about you at all dictate or rule parts of your lives. Take that energy and go tweet at a government official or something, someone who can actually help benefit or make the world better, someone who should be critiqued, not a celebrity who's enjoying living their lives, not hurting anyone, or a person in general who's just enjoying themselves as well. Let these people live their lives. Like, we gotta stop trying to segue over into what others are doing, thinking that as the champions of society or righteousness that we have that right to renounce or decry what somebody else is doing. Like I said, if it's not personally attacking you, leave them be. I see tweets all the time with ESPN's The Six, Jamil Hill and Michael Smith. Oh, thank God that The Six with Jamil Hill and Michael Smith isn't on this week. I didn't want to see them, or I get tired of hearing them and their horrible reporting. And it's like, are you doing this hoping that they'll just give you some type of attention? Because you're still nothing to them. You're actually helping to promote them, if you will, by taking the time to name drop them in the name of your hate or your disdain for what they do. Like, they're still making millions, thousands, hundreds, whatever they're making, they're still doing it. They're still living their lives. They're still famous, and you're not. Why even take the time to do that? If you really feel some type of way, go try to work on your own thing. Start your own show. We really got to stop all the extra ridiculous hate. If you're going to take the time to address or challenge someone, do it for a worthy cause, or use your platform to educate, but don't take the time and effort to go denigrate someone who, like I said, could give a damn about what you're saying or what you think, because they're still going on, living their lives, making their money. And meanwhile, you're still sitting there watching or paying attention or following whatever they're doing. So clearly, you like something that you see, or they're doing something that's attracting your attention, because you could easily take that time and go watch or do something else. Go mow the fucking lawn or something. Don't just, I'm gonna get Twitter fingers because I'll never run into these people and they can't do shit to me. And then you get called out and try to fight back against a wave of fans or whatnot. Like, come on, B, sit down and chill out. Like I said, focus on building your own brand. Maybe if more people would take that hate and do something productive, we'd have a better society or something. But, that's too much like right. And nobody wants to be told the right thing to do. So honestly, I'd really just like to see that type of thing just calm down, or, like I said, redirect that and, focus your attention on something that can be positive or productive, or do something to better the world. Stop hating, because that's really all it is. It's just you hating on what someone else is doing or what somebody else has, and you feel empowered behind your computer or phone screen to try to throw some words at them, hoping, I guess, that you get famous. And we see that apparently you guys still aren't famous. You're still out there following ESPN or The Six or Jamil Hill, Michael Smith, any personality who, like I said, isn't doing anything malicious with the platform. They're just being themselves. They're talking about their interests, and you decide to, I guess, attempt to rain on somebody's parade. Nah, sit that down. Next, let's get on to this healthcare situation, because this is something I've been wanting to talk about for a minute. I didn't get a chance to get the guest on who would be great for this, but they will be coming on one day soon. But in the meantime, I just want to go over some of my concerns, and what I hear a lot of people having issues and all that with the current Obamacare or Affordable Care Act being in place, and pushing for this, I don't know if you want to call it Trump Care or Republican Affordable Care Act or something, but I think the biggest thing is people themselves don't really understand what Healthcare Act is really about. everyone is quick to be like, oh, this mandate forcing us to get health care, it's horrible, that's not right, the government's overstepping. But in a way, it's actually still benefiting the people and helping hospitals, because with the government having a mandate to pretty much make sure you're covered, they're putting responsibility on you to protect yourself as well as protecting hospitals. Because if you don't have insurance and you go to a hospital, get sick, can't afford to pay for your treatment, the hospital essentially takes a loss. And with that loss, you miss out on having to pay people, being able to offer more treatments, building up the hospital, things like that. So it's a way of just honestly providing an insurance policy for everybody. Some way, somehow, the hospital will be able to recoup, and you're still going to get worked on. You would be really, really upset if it came down to it and your hospital closed down because everybody decided, yo, I don't want health care, or I don't want to have to pay for health care, rather, so I'm not going to do it. And then they get sick, go to the hospital, can't afford to pay, because, while they're sick, they can't work or whatever the case may be. Hospital still helps them, has to cover that cost. And you have a lot of cases like that. Eventually the hospital's going to fail, or it's not going to be able to keep up with the demand or just maintain upkeep of the premises. And so then you get your subpar hospitals, rundown hospitals, less trained physicians or fewer physicians and things like that. And so your resources start running out. And then, you got to start traveling even further to a hospital and paying even more money. And it just keeps going on and on and on. And so we really need to get off the whole mandate thing, because like I said, it's important. It's a way of making sure that you're taken care of and that the hospital can continue to serve people ultimately. There are state funds and things like that provided to them, but that's only but so much, and that has to be dispersed to a lot of people. So you can't just rely on that part. If you are able to work in things like that, we ultimately should be putting in, because this is a public service, and it's something that at some point or another we are gonna need. And so again, I say that's one thing we really need to get off of. I understand everyone with the cost of things through the Obamacare marketplace or insurance network, because at one point or another, before I got my job and got health insurance through the company, I was looking at getting health insurance, and that shit was expensive as hell, like $200 something a month for a plan and all that. And I'm like, yo, I really can't afford that. So that's something we really need to be pushing towards, lowering costs for people that do have to go to the marketplace or do go to the marketplace, finding an affordable plan for them and their families, or even opening up Medicaid and Medicare to others, so that way they can try to get some type of help. I personally, I'm not gonna lie, I don't make the most money in the world, but I don't mind paying towards that, knowing that one day, I might not have my job with my health care, and I might need to look towards Medicare or Medicaid and things like that. And so, we got to really be mindful of our futures as well, and that nothing is promised to any of us. At any one time, we could end up needing the same services that we're shunning or that they're trying to cut and things like that. And I know a lot of people who honestly don't mind paying for Medicare or Medicaid. Their only thing is like they're paying for it and they can never receive it for the most part, unless something really, dire happens with this situation, and it shouldn't be like that. That's why I personally feel like with all the money that's paid towards taxes and things like that, it could really be diverted to helping to fund universal health care for everyone without necessarily relying on, only your company to help you provide for it, or you having to pay out of pocket for it and things like that. Have maybe some subsidies that can assist with that, or just anything. There's so much that could be done to actually work out a feasible plan, but we really need to work on holding our officials more accountable. I am seeing a huge uptick in citizens' activities as far as communicating or contacting their local representatives and things like that. But we gotta keep doing that, but also push to get better people elected. Get people who actually are there to serve versus take or maintain their own image while we're all wallowing. It's not right. We're electing these officials to keep our interest in mind when they make decisions, but it seems like they're not. That's one of the things I hate about these party affiliations that we have as well, because, once upon a time, George Washington warned against it, Yet here we are, clearly suffering. It's Republican versus Democrat matter versus healthcare is an issue for everyone. Education is an issue for everyone. Criminal reform, criminal justice reform is an issue for a lot of people. Why don't we have representatives talking about these things? What's felt in one area has a trickle down effect of coming back to another. And I feel like too many times we lose sight of that in a means of allegiances. It's like, oh, because I'm with this group or I'm doing this, I couldn't possibly support what you're doing, even though it would help me or help my people or help my constituents and things like that. It's honestly, it's quite ridiculous. That's why before we end today, I want to talk about John Kasich. He's from Ohio, and he has a real pragmatic and understandable approach to things. He's a Republican, tried to run for presidency. He probably would have been the Republican version of Bernie Sanders. Feel the burn. But he's a good dude, and I actually tweeted him asking, why do you consider yourself a Republican? Considering that you have such a open mind and open approach to things, you, in my opinion, might be a little bit more liberal than you think. But again, why do we even have to have this divide or these definitions? Why can't it just be, I'm here to support the people. I want to make sure the people are good. We're going to do what's best for the people. The people that got me into office, that got me into this position. I'm looking out for them. We don't need any more confusion. We need clarity, and we need people that are going to try to push for this clarity. So just if you can, everyone, keep that in mind as you go through this week. Please pay attention to what's going on with healthcare. Do something nice for someone if you can, lend somebody a helping hand. Use your Twitter, Instagram, or Snapchat to share some knowledge, drop some wisdom, you know what I'm saying? But that is going to be it for today. This is a short little segment, but next week we will have a lot more going on, a couple more things to talk about. I hope you enjoyed today. Please, again, as I always say, leave feedback on our Twitter page. Also, before we do go, I would like to say we are working on a screenplay for a competition that's due at the end of this month. I don't want to get too much into the details, but it's a science fiction type deal with a twist, a very big twist. Please follow us on Twitter and feel free to leave comments or suggestions for next week's topics. Share it with a friend. Enjoy the rest of the week. I'll see you later.